The controversial calls, the game-changing plays, the athletes making headlines for all the right reasons and sometimes the wrong ones. From the NFL to the NBA, college ball to the pros, if it's happening in sports, we're breaking it down with no filter and all opinion. Tune in to Out of Bounds with me, Ray Richardson, and my co-host Neil Scarborough, live every Friday at 6 p.m. only on KBLA Talk 1580, because the best conversations happen out of bounds. KBLA Talk 1580, where Los Angeles talks.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA, Talk 1580, download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We've been having a fascinating conversation about the state of Palestinian people in the Gaza. Our very special guest has been Dr. Hania Dakak, head of Policy and Liaison Unit with the United Nations Population Fund Humanitarian Office. Dr. Dakak provides UNFPA country and regional offices with advice on policy coordination and technical support related to humanitarian preparedness, emergency response, disaster risk reduction, recovery, and resilience. Her goal and role is to advance the gender equality to promote sexual and reproductive health and rights, including menstrual health, mental health, and psychosocial support to prevent and respond to gender-based violence issues in humanitarian settings. Dr. Dakak, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm so glad to be with you today.
You know, in the first hour, we talked about some of the difficulties of pregnancies within the Gaza and the circumstances under which children are born into the world under those particular circumstances. I can only imagine that the ability to deliver mental health services to women who are struggling with difficult pregnancies and the trauma of war itself must be its own unique challenge. I can imagine in this moment that mental health services are probably the very last available services, given the urgent need for other critical care in the maternal process. Dr. Dakak?
Yeah, the reality of the matter, yes, mental health and psychosocial support has been needed in Gaza for many years. There has been a lot of work on mental health and psychosocial support because of, this is a generational trauma. This is not just yesterday trauma, okay? It's not 2023 trauma. It's a trauma since 1948 going onward. So it's a generational trauma. We talk about it really, like you are talking about people who are born in refugee camps and, they have to survive on a daily basis and really be able to grow and rebuild and have families. So it's not an easy situation. Currently, mental health is number one needed. Plus, maternal health is very needed. Everything is needed at the moment. Like you are talking about also, bad water and sanitation situation where a lot of waterborne diseases are happening and infections because of lack of sanitation. And these are the situation that a lot of the children, the newborns are facing. If you don't have clean water, what are you going? And it's the only water that you could have is the seawater. Otherwise, there is no other water coming, like clean water into Gaza. So it's very difficult to really understand that when you don't have electricity, you don't have water, you don't have universities, schools, medical health care. It taxes mentally everybody. You know what I mean? It's like 80% of mental health issues is daily life issues. If you improve the situation, a lot of people could improve. But if doesn't happen, then these people are going to really suffer post-traumatic syndrome. A lot of children couldn't sleep. They have nightmares, bedwetting. You name it. A lot of women have a lot of depressions that we are dealing with, a lot of stress and depression, and so a lot of people are suffering, elderly. There is a lot of children who have been unaccompanied at the moment because their family members have died, and there is nobody else to take care of them. Plus, they might be also injured on top of that. So I think, this is not the first time that there is, these type of attacks. 2018, there was, another one in 2009. There was several of these type of situation where Gaza was attacked and people were bombed in their houses, and many families actually have just been whipped out of the civil registry. They are not there anymore because they have just died. We are talking about more than 71,000 that have died, because of the war, but we are not talking about the numbers that are dying because of the unhealthy conditions that they are living in. So that's another thing that we really need to understand, that people are dying also from infections, people are dying from hypothermia, people are dying from different things because of the conditions that they are living in. So you are not talking about only the 71,000 that were wounded and died. Like the 71 died because of shrapnels, bombs, and all of that. But we also are talking about people who are dying because there is no medical care available at the moment to them.
Dr. Cock, let me, I know that we're going to be coming forward in about 30 seconds, and so that's our way of saying that we have a break here on KBLA Talk 1580. But who speaks for the people of the Gaza?
It's again, nobody is listening to the people of Gaza. The people of Gaza who basically were on social media, they were speaking about what is happening to them on a daily basis. The UN is speaking about what is happening on a daily basis. The civil society, the international civil society who have been witnessing, who have actually been on the ground in Gaza, they are witnessing and they are talking about what is happening to the Gaza people. I think the UN has spoken so many times about the situation in Gaza, but nobody is listening at the moment. Also, Israel has banned a lot of the UN, like not only the UN agency, but the international NGOs also from non-governmental organizations.
Dr. DeCock, when we come forward, we'll have more discussions on the conditions of the Palestinians in the Gaza and in the West Bank. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Listen to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
After nearly 20 years in Congress, he knows how to get at the issues that matter the most to you. Every day, he takes a deep dive into politics, social justice, and the stories that shape our community. This is where prominent people unpack perplexing problems. Unfiltered, unapologetic, unmissable. You're inside the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Before joining the United Nations, Dr. Ania Dakak, in June of 2004, was the Director of Relief and Development Programs with International Medical Corps. She managed and developed technical aspect of service delivery programming to improve quality of care within IMC global programs and relief and development settings throughout Africa, Central Asia, the Middle East, Southeast Asia. She's also worked as technical advisor for the Reproductive Health in Conflict Consortium. Dr. Dakak, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Jesse.
And I know that we're in a little bit of a challenge with the siren that's in the background, but I can
Yes,
understand.
the sirens of New York.
So I did want to ask you, and this is our final segment, and I'm so grateful that you were able to stay with us. From your perspective, other than the United Nations, are there other partners around the world that are stepping up to address the humanitarian crisis that exists in the Gaza and in the West Bank?
Thank you. Yes, there are a lot of international non-governmental organizations that has worked in Palestine, in Gaza, West Bank, and East Jerusalem for many years, for many decades. I can name few of them: CARE International, International Rescue Committee, International Medical Corps, Project Hope. You know, there are Oxfam, Catholic Relief Services. All of them are part and parcel of the international community that existed and still exists in Palestine. Although recently, there was an order to really not provide authorization for international non-governmental organization to work in Palestine, in the West Bank, and in Gaza and East Jerusalem. So this is something that was, like sort of a ban of international organization from really working and supporting the Palestinian community to really survive the situation that they are living under at the moment. So it's very important that the international community continue to be present, especially like the non-governmental organization, to be present and be able to see what's going on and be also the eyes and ears for the Palestinian people in Gaza, West Bank, and Jerusalem. So and East Jerusalem, these are still, East Jerusalem, although it was annexed by Israel, it's still, Tamim, not considered an Israeli territory by international community. It's still contested area, and never, like the issue of Jerusalem have never been resolved at all. So I think this is very, very important issue that still people don't, understand that there are a Palestinian community in Jerusalem that has at the moment not a lot of support also from the international community if these organizations stop being there and active in providing support. So I think we need the international community to continue being in Gaza, West Bank, and Jerusalem.
I'd like to take this opportunity to share just a little bit of my family's history in this conflict. My mother was a close and dear friend of the late Anwar Sadat, the late president of Egypt.
Egypt, yes.
And even when I was a member of Congress, I spent a number of trips meeting with Hosni Mubarak, the successor to Anwar Sadat in Egypt, and worked very closely with the Foreign Operations Committee, the House Appropriations Committee, with their security services as well. But when my mother met with Yasser Arafat in the late 70s,
yes,
he shared with her that he was willing to talk with the Israelis.
Definitely.
My mother returned to the United States. She met with her close and dear friend, whom she had the privilege of marching with in the late 60s, Andrew Young, who Jimmy Carter had appointed to the UN Security Council as ambassador to the United Nations. During this particular cycle, he was president of the Security Council. He met with my mother. And my mother shared with him her good friend, Andy. She said, Andy, listen, you need to talk to the Palestinians because they're willing to talk with the Israelis. Andy Young, as president of the Security Council, clearly within his rights as president of the Security Council, had a private meeting with Palestinian leadership. And he was fired by President Jimmy Carter for having that meeting. And the firing of Andy Young led to a rift between African Americans and Jewish people that is a fact, even until this day, that the most prominent African American, the most promising disciple of Martin Luther King Jr., who would later, of course, go on to become a congressman and the mayor of Indiana, could be fired by the mayor of Atlanta, by the former governor of Georgia, in the capacity as president of the United Nations. And so African Americans have directly and indirectly been involved in the conflict for a number of years. I, as a member of Congress, worked with Ariel Sharon. I also worked with Benjamin Netanyahu. I spent a significant amount of time in the West Bank with Saeb Erekat.
Saeb Erekat, yes.
As well as other Palestinian leadership and chief negotiators on behalf of the two-state solution. And so these aren't just policy prescriptions. These are between, I know myself, but certainly Anea and P.L. Da Silva. We are long-standing negotiators for peace in the region. That isn't just a function of where do you stand on this, where do you stand on that. No, we've been there for 40 years and longer. We've been part of a broad discussion. And some of that discussion, of course, here domestically in the United States, Ania, would lead to relationship building, growth, and even challenges between Blacks and Jewish people here in the United States,
Definitely.
laying the foundation for, better and broader relationships in the tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. and Abraham Heschel, Rabbi Abraham Heschel, who
Mhm.
marched with Dr. King in the Deep South. And so there is a kinship that we have with both global Jewry, in
Mhm.
that we both exited a slave system. Of course, they exited a pharaonic slave system, let my people go, and we exited a slave system too. Amend the Constitution of the United States because these states wouldn't let us out of the peculiar institution of slavery. We share so much in common,
Common.
but we
Definitely.
also share in the self-determination and the rights of the Palestinian people to be able to live free, to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I felt compelled to share that little bit of history, Ania, because it is who we are. It is ingrained in who we are. And
Of course.
Palestinian babies and mothers should not be suffering at this hour. Ania, let me ask you this question before
Mhm.
we shut down our program. We have about 6 minutes remaining
Mhm.
with you on the program, and we close at there's a hard stop at the 30. Can you
Yeah.
share with us the hope that you have for the Palestinian people in the next, let's say, 5 minutes?
Yes, I think every Palestinian across the globe, and I'm talking about, Palestinians who are currently in Gaza, Palestinians who are currently in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, in the refugee camps in Jordan, Lebanon, and in the refugee camps of Syria, and in the diaspora. Okay, we are talking about, the refugees, like 5.9 million refugees, Palestinian refugees in the diaspora, and they all, I mean, of course, the numbers is more than that across the globe, but I think everybody wants peace. They want self-determination. They want also the ability uh, to have the freedom to decide for themselves and not anybody deciding on their behalf. I think that's very important. And also, like blaming the Palestinian for everything that happened to the Jewish people. This is absolutely ridiculous. What I mean? It's not that the Palestinian are the instigator of what happened to the Jews during Second World War II. We all know and we sympathize, about what happened, and nobody wants to see another Second World War II happening, and we don't want to see another, genocide happening in the world. And I think what we want is also for us, to be able to live freely, return to our homes, be able to rebuild our lives, or to be, some sort of reparation, because, like, this is not going to go away. These people are not going to go away. We are existing. We have a voice, and we are a people of this world. We have the same rights as everybody. This is part of the UN Human Rights Charter. We have the right to decide for ourselves. And at the moment, we are not being able to decide for ourselves. And people are deciding on our behalf on a daily basis. The peace process, where is the peace process? It's almost dead, okay? It's almost dead. Like the two-state solution, it never been, implemented. And it wasn't because of the Palestinians that wasn't implemented. So I think what we need, is really a comprehensive new narrative of peace and reconciliation. As you have said, Jesse, you know, we have to come together. There is no, like, this is one land that basically has to have the two people living together. There is no other alternatives. There is no other alternatives except
You,
to have peace.
you
Over.
know, Ania, I think about I really appreciate what you said. I think the trauma between both sides has been so great for so long, um, and so difficult that I even shared with Prime Minister Netanyahu that I wish there were some way that students could be exchanged on both sides of the border so that a new generation could enjoy themselves socially and culturally and engage not in a segregated across the fence relationship, but a spiritually integrated relationship.
Of
Where
course.
we play soccer together, baseball together, and
Have the same rights, have
have
the same
this,
rights.
but it may have to start incrementally with a generation that isn't as hardened as some of the professionals, some of the older generations that have experienced so much trauma together. I'm just talking about, there's so many things that my son, when he talks to me at 22 years old, I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he calls, his friends call me Unc. I'm like, Unc, I'm not an old man. I mean, when did that start? When did that start? So there's like a world that they understand that is not our own. And I almost don't want to share with them the mistakes that we've made when they are a lot less wed to the idea of the way their parents felt or thought. They've gone to school with Jewish students. They've gone to school with Palestinians and Arab Americans. They're a lot less hung up on some of the stuff that our parents are hung up on. And I wish there were this environment where there were trust built amongst a generation of people who are willing to build it in the space, in safe spaces. And I don't know if that's all the way possible, but Ania, I'm so grateful that you spent this hour with us on the hour and a half with us on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you. And I am glad to be with you all. Thank you.
I hope that you'll come back and join us some other time.
Yes,
Hania,
I will do.
Dr. Hania Dakak has been our very special guest for the last hour and a half. More on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show when we come forward on KBLA Talk.
Thank you.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. No clemency for Black Oklahoma death row inmate Kendrick Simpson.
I don't make any excuses. I don't blame others, and they didn't deserve what happened to them.
The State Pardon and Parole Board voted 3-2 to deny his request, clearing the way for his February 12th execution. Simpson apologized to the victims' families during a hearing, saying he was remorseful for the 2006 Oklahoma City shooting that killed 2 men after an altercation outside a club. Articles of impeachment have been filed against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Congresswoman Robin Kelly says Noem mishandled the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and blocked congressional oversight of ICE facilities. And Washington, D.C. could receive nearly $200 million under a new congressional spending bill, including $90 million for public safety at major events. Black D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is also asking lawmakers to add another $10 million to cover recent federal law enforcement costs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Claremont on the 210 westbound right after Town Avenue, we got a 4-car rollover accident. The 3 right lanes are going to be blocked. In Santa Clarita on the 14 northbound right at Newhall Avenue, that off-ramp is going to be blocked with a new accident. In West LA, it's a SIG alert 405 southbound after Wilshire Boulevard. The 2 right lanes are blocked. Told you about this rollover accident. It's stop and go from Sepulveda Boulevard.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. 2 Rams assistant coaches reportedly are the first coaches to get interview requests from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are the 9th NFL team looking for a new head coach after Mike Tomlin announced his resignation Tuesday morning. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Steelers have asked for permission to talk with Rams passing game coordinator Nate Shellhouse and defensive coordinator Chris Shula. Both coaches are busy this week preparing for the Rams playoff game Sunday at Chicago. Tomlin is the most successful African-American head coach in NFL history. His 201 victories in 19 seasons with the Steelers are the 3rd most wins for an NFL head coach since 2007. The 2 guys ahead of Tomlin are former New England coach Bill Belichick and Kansas City coach Andy Reid. Tomlin led the Steelers to a Super Bowl win in 2008. and 8 AFC North titles. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580. Tired of the same old sports talk? Ready to go where the real conversation happens? Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, host of Out of Bounds, the sports show that doesn't play it safe. Every Friday at 6 p.m. on KBLA Talk 1580, my co-host Neil Scarborough and I get you ready for the weekend. We take you beyond the highlight reels and into the stories that matter. The controversial calls, the game-changing plays, the athletes making headlines for all the right reasons and sometimes the wrong ones. From the NFL to the NBA, college ball to the pros, if it's happening in sports, we're breaking it down with no filter and all opinion. Tune in to Out of Bounds with me, Ray Richardson, and my co-host Neil Scarborough, live every Friday at 6 p.m. only on KBLA Talk 1580, because the best conversations happen out of bounds. KBLA Talk 1580, where Los Angeles talks.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Wealthy Wednesdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. And before I bring up our next guest, in case you're wondering why your text messages are not working, it's because Verizon is out over large parts of the country. That's why your text messages are coming back. That's why your cell phone may not be working. And you might be asking yourself, did they receive my check, or did they pay the bill, or did they withdraw the money from my account? No, they down. And that's like to leave us naked in the wintertime, because we can't text, we can't call, we can't see what's going on in the world, including our live news programming. So I want to let you know that's exactly what's happening with your phone. Verizon is having a kind of power or system outage at this hour, and I want to bring that to everyone's attention. Our very special guest in this hour is Mike Worldwide PR alum John Diggles, who serves as CEO and founder of Ascent Strategies. He's not here yet, but when he does come, he will have already been introduced, providing services in digital transformation, corporate storytelling, employer brand strategy, marketing or clinical research, and return on investment measurement. The agency's IP uses proprietary communications algorithms, combining online community insights with medical professionals' perspectives, patient observations, and market data to promote adoption, telemedicine, remote patient monitoring, and healthcare artificial intelligence, among other offerings. When John Diggles comes onto the program, we're going to talk about a little bit of that, but a lot more than that. John has one of the best and brightest minds in the public relations space, bar none. And he's using and maximizing technology to get that done. But I'm particularly honored in this hour, even though I don't think she's turned up her microphone on the Roadcaster, the producer and creator of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, Tina Towns. Welcome forward to the show.
Oh, Jesse, it's only Wednesday. What am I doing here?
I know it's supposed to be Fat Meat Fridays, but it can be Fat Meat Wednesdays. A lot of fat meat in the last 90 minutes, though, Gina.
I understand. Oh, my God, there has been, for sure.
I'm completely taken aback by the humanitarian crisis that's taking place in that part of the world. But under the Trump regime, there's probably going to be a humanitarian crisis taking place in almost every country in the world if he has his say, because he's destabilizing, as Dr. DeCock said, he's destabilizing all of the norms in systems, not only in South America, trying to destabilize Nigeria, threatening Cuba and Colombia, meeting today with the foreign minister and the prime minister of Greenland. And even though the United States has provided significant security for the state of Israel, by the way, which the state of Israel does need, it does need to be secure. There is now an open discussion about what the president of the United States is committing himself to do in Iran in light of the more than 2,400 protesters who have been killed or murdered by the regime. Many have suggested that regime change in Iran would have a profound impact on global stability, particularly in the Middle East, because Iran is that kind of terror state that sponsors terror in other parts of the world, but also in friendly neighbors to Iran, other Arab countries in the Middle East. And, good riddance. If the democracy or the form of government that the people ultimately choose in Iran is of, for, and by them, if they're good with it, if they're good with the preservation of rights for women, if they're good with the preservation of human rights, good riddance. But the idea that, Gina, some kind of Ayatollah is over the system and his religious values are being imposed on everybody, I mean, I find that deeply troubling. I always have found it deeply troubling, Gina.
I mean, one has to wonder. I mean, can I just get any values from these people out here? I mean, just doggone all over the world. People are just all over the place. It's like little ants that are just scurrying everywhere, chasing, the next piece of cornbread. I am lost for words for where the human heart is to see people well-fed, educated, in good health. What you guys just discussed in the last hour and a half was actually disgusting. To even think about the fact that in Gaza, for people who have been displaced and driven out of their homeland for decades now, are suffering still, and no bomb is dropping. It is that there's dysentery. It is that mothers are bleeding to death. in childbirth, and that children are starving and that they are orphans. It's really unconscionable. And I don't know at which point, because I did ask the question in the chat, who is going to speak out? You know, where are the major news organizations? I think it's lost a little bit in the news cycle because so many things are happening around the world. But I do think that we have to stop and deal with this.
I 2 million people. I was shocked by the number that there are more Palestinians in the global diaspora than in the Gaza Strip. That she said something about 5.5 million people, so 2 million in the Gaza, 3.5 million people are in camps that range from Syria to Lebanon to other parts of the world. You know, I was thinking about when I was in elementary school, I had a friend. I was in the 5th grade, and I remember staying at a friend. I want to think his name was Shahari or Shari, maybe one of my elementary school classmates who listened to the program who called me. Anyway, he lived in Prairie Shores, and I stayed at his home one night, and I didn't quite understand, because again, I was in the 5th grade, why we were eating around a kind of pillow, and there was lamb and there was rice, and our legs were folded, and I really appreciated the cultural experience. And he had on, and I know this now, but I didn't know it then, he had on a Palestinian scarf. I know this now, but I didn't know this in the 5th grade. But the reality is his family were refugees from the conflict in the Middle East. They were refugees, and they were at John J. Pershing Elementary School in my 4th and 5th grade class before I left and went to Le Mans Military Academy. And it occurs to me that's my first interaction with someone who understood the crisis. And, you know, he was very worldly for his age because he had been through it. And he was trying to convince me that I didn't truly understand all that his people were going through. And he wasn't wrong. In the 5th grade, I mean, I thought I knew. We were fighting the power.
I understand.
Back in the day, in the 5th grade. I said, you don't know Mayor Daley.
We had a little dot over here. Yeah, no.
But it wasn't what he was going through.
Absolutely.
It was not that.
But you know what, here as a child, and some people may remember this, there was the Bible that people had in their house, the one that you kept at home. You didn't take it to church. It just sat there. And my parents had one of those, and it had maps that you pulled out. And I remember clear as day seeing Palestine, and I remember understanding that it was no longer Palestine.
Isn't that something? I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to Gina Towns. It's not Fat Meat Fridays. It is Wealthy Wednesdays. And I'm so grateful that the creator of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show is joining us. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Unwrap LA this winter with Metro. Whether you're heading to a family gathering or last-minute shopping, Metro's got you. Enjoy free rides across Metro on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Move with joy. Move with community this holiday season. Go Metro.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Not everything announces itself. Some things simply arrive, and the room is compelled to adjust. This is grooming without apology, without noise, without compromise. Gods and Money, organic formulations, clean precision, crafted for skin that does not ask for permission to be felt. Element Cream, a rare hydration layered like an oud at dusk, measured, enduring, unmistakably masculine, moisturizing oil, a quiet revolution, restoring what stress, climate, and time attempts to claim. This is not skincare. It is composure made visible. It is inevitability. Gods and Money exist impeccably. Discover the ritual at godsandmoney.com. That's Gods and Money, MONY.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. And our regular contributor on Wealthy Wednesdays is none other than Dr. S. Todd Urey. He's just in time to give us a mini sermon on our way at the top of the hour. Dr. Urey, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I think your phone might be muted, but I think you're here with us now. Hey, Dr. Urey.
I am here with you, just getting off of an airplane, and I figured I'd catch you so I could do my mini sermon.
It's all yours, sir. It's all yours.
The heavens behind him. I'm sure he's gonna break the out.
He knows the routine.
Yeah, look, either I think that's the heavens, or it could be a cloud. But with all that's going on, I can only imagine what the discussion has been today with where things are. The real question I think that confronts us is, how do we avoid becoming so discouraged as to become paralyzed? And this is where I think we have to remember not only who we are, but who our creator is. And that in that intentional plan to make us uniquely who we are is a sense of resilience and resistance that is actually just a part of our spiritual DNA, and probably our actual DNA too, if we were actually look at it. But there's a passage Paul writes in one of the letters to Thessalonians. There's nothing that happens to us that is not uncommon to the human experience. Human frailty, human selfishness, human sensitivity leaves room for all kinds of abuses, as we see. But we have to remember, and this is what your father always told us, God is faithful. God is faithful. Having bid farewell to Claudette Colvin, who in her own unique way, as a teenager, started the momentum. God is faithful. And with whatever the challenge might be, God gives us the ability to not only withstand it, but to outlast it. And so we'll come through this, whatever this is, however long it lasts, whatever it takes, because we are who we are, and because we are whose we are. In the end, we're going to be just fine. In the meantime, don't be discouraged. Let's stay focused on the real work that must be done.
Dr. Urey, I'm amazed at how you go back to the source of your faith in the midst of an era, if you will, of discouragement. You go to the well to seek something that is extraordinary in the spirit realm to propel you to look at the day differently, to look at the week differently, to look at time differently, and to accept the moment for what it is. But somewhere in there is this grain of this mustard seed, this seed of hope that propels the ministry, that propels your life, and that propels the work forward. To the extent that you can you share with us the source of that energy, the source of that seed that you water, that needs nourishment, that propels what you do forward?
Well, I'll say it the way I do with all of my messages. I invite people to, wherever they are, find a well-lit room, and in that space, find a big, bright, clear, clean mirror, a bright, clear glass. If they have to look at their reflection in the coffee table glass, in the window pane, the reflection in the appliances, the compact in their purse, wherever they can see themselves, wherever you can see you, appreciate what you see. Because if you take a good look at your reflection, you will find that there is intimate and intricate detail to the plan of the creator to make you uniquely who you are.
Wow.
And so don't just look at the things that appear to be out of place. Pay attention to the color and texture of your hair, the smoothness of your skin, the color and shape of your eyes, the fullness of your lips, the shape of your nose, all of those things that make you identifiably and recognizably different than anybody else. The one thing that I know anyone can do is to be the most authentic version of themselves, more so than trying to be a poor imposter of somebody else. But here's what I also know, is that what you see in your reflection is your appearance, but inside of you is a spark of the divine that gives you your essence, the drive that you have for life, the dreams that you have for your own purpose, the fulfillment of your destiny. And so if we don't lose sight of the inner workings, the fire that burns within, we'll be just fine. And so I check to make sure that I've got fresh wood on the fire every morning. Some days it's a little more difficult than others, but there's got to be a burn, a deep yearning that allows us to overcome the difficulties of the moment and make a difference in the world.
Gina?
Well, certainly God has been using you, Dr. Erie, to stretch me in my level of patience, because I was nervous about you.
Oh Lord. say it ain't so.
But seriously, but on a serious note, that was just so well stated, eloquent in its expression. But that's not the norm for so many people, because the world tells us something different when we look into the mirror and when we try to look within, and then we go out and face the world. And I think that's the importance of taking time, as you just talked about, in the morning for a reflection of heart as well. There's the reflection that you see in the mirror before you leave in the morning, but even before you go look in that mirror, sometimes you might need to do some heart reflection. And you talked about a source, and that source is light, and it is love, and it teaches us. I mean, it's taken me a long time. It took me 40 years to really be in true acceptance of what I saw in the mirror or how I felt about myself. And that is a journey for people. And I pray that everybody is willing to take it. And through your guidance, and one of the reasons you are a host on this show, and through Jesse's leadership and Tavis's leadership, hopefully we're able to guide people there on, because all of us are on the journey.
It's a real journey, but culturally we are conditioned to try to imitate and emulate. We don't get a lot of training on how to develop a level of authenticity and confidence in the incompleteness of who we are. And so many times we find ourselves frustrated because we're actually living according to somebody else's agenda. And until we find our sense of self, until we find confidence in being okay with taking on, say, James Weldon Johnson's poem, The Creation, and reading that and understanding that this great God, like a mammy swooning over her baby, scooped out of the earth, right? That dirt that gives us our tan, our reflection, the melanin that flows, that the sun activates, that even in the wintertime, we're able to make sure that we don't lose a sense of not only how we look, but how we move. We've got to recognize that there's a uniqueness here. And if we can embrace it, even though it is under attack, it's under a real attack again, but we have to remember, if he did it once, he'll do it again. We're going to be just fine.
Gina, some closing thoughts in our minute and 30 seconds that we have remaining before the top of the hour.
Well, first, thank you, Dr. Yuri. I know that you were in the courtroom today, but we see that you couldn't get out fast enough and off that airplane and out of the skies fast enough to give us a word of hope. And so thank you. Certainly, this is a midweek to get us over the hump.
Glad to do it.
I'm particularly grateful, Dr. Yuri, that you sacrificed. You know, you didn't have to come today, and we're so grateful that you did give us this extraordinary time. We count on that to get us through our weeks because it's a long slog sometime. We start out very spiritually and bring the week in with none other than Terry Hord Owens, and then we move in the general direction of Liz King and Tenacious Tuesdays with Barbara Arnwine. But we need that little shove to get through the rest of the week from Dr. Todd Yuri, and I'm so grateful to call him my friend, our spiritual advisor, and someone whose contribution to this show continues to just give more life to all of us. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, it will be on Thursday. Our very special guest, Johnny Mack, will be with us in the second hour. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.